This is the beginning of Excel Project 8. It begins on page 187 and it tells you to make sure that you have saved your workbook or spreadsheet into your student folder. And now we are going to move on to page 188. First, we're going to be using the autofill function. We're going to go up to column A, right click on the actual letter A, and we're going to click Insert from that menu. Automatically, Excel will always insert a column to the left of where you right clicked. So now we have a new blank column A, and we're going to go down to row 19, and you can see that row 19 is empty. So we're going to actually click on the number 19 and click delete, and that deletes the entire row all the way across in your spreadsheet. Now we're going to go up to cell A5. Click on cell A5 and type item space the number sign. So we're basically created a brand new heading for our spreadsheet, and we are going to click off of cell A5 and then click back on it because we want to get our cursor out of there. We're going to click on it and choose the bold button to highlight it, and we're going to center align the contents of that cell. Now we're going to click in cell A6 and type the number 1. And we're going to hold down Control as we hold our mouse over the bottom right corner of cell A6. Notice that your cursor turns into a black plus sign, so hold down Control and drag down while still holding the mouse. When you get down to where it says West Virginia or row 34, you can let go of both your mouse and the Control button, and notice that it automatically numbers from 1 to 29 because we held down that Control key. While you still have everything highlighted, we're going to hit the center align button to center align those numbers. So now it wants us to highlight D5 with our white plus sign, highlight D5 through E5. So I've highlighted both of those two cells. I'm going to hold my mouse over the bottom right corner where it has a little tiny green, notice that little green square. Click and drag over with a black plus sign to H5. Notice when I highlighted those two numbers in a series, it's going to complete that series or continue completing that pattern. Okay, so it's counting by tens for us. Okay, now we are going to move on to page 189, and it wants you to click on H16, and you're going to change the number. Completely just hit delete to delete out that entire number in H16 and type this number in, 215739. Okay, now we're going to click on H13, and we are going to change by double clicking. We can put our cursor in there and delete out any parts that we might need to. We're actually going to change the number. I'm going to click get rid of that 5 and put it in 4. So now it should say 157445. Okay? Now I've also noticed that they did not spell the word Florida correctly in B11. So I'm going to double click right after the L in Florida in B11, and I'm going to type an O so that I spelled it correctly. Next, we're going to click on E31. So make sure you've clicked on E31, and we're going to change that 8 by double clicking, change that 8 to a 6. So now it should say 105602. If you tap Control and Home keys, have to hit Enter first, then Control Home, it'll take you back up to the very beginning or top of your spreadsheet, and you will start right back in cell A1. Now we're still on page 190 now, and we're going to highlight cells B1 and we're going to B1, and notice that because it's merged and centered right here, that it highlights the entire cell from B1 to H1. And we are going to apply bold to our title for our spreadsheet. And we are going to also change the font size up here in our ribbon to 12. Now we are going to, and also we have to do that for number 2, for row 2 also, so B, and change that one to 12 as well. Now we are going to highlight arrange. Arrange means from one cell through the last cell in that range. So what we're going to do is with our white plus sign, we're going to click on cell D6, click and drag through all the way to H34. So we've highlighted all the numbers over here underneath our column headings. And we are going to change the way that the numbers look. We're going to use the comma style. So we go up here to the number group and we choose comma style, click on it. Now you'll notice that your cells, some of them now have just number signs in them. The reason for that is because it means that your data is too big to show all of the numbers in that cell. Well, we're going to go and take out some of these dollar signs, because really what this data is telling you is this is population of number of people by state. Well, we're not going to have half a person or 2/3 of a person. So we're going to use these reduce or decrease decimal places. So while you still have it highlighted, click this button twice. So now we have gotten rid of those decimal places and we have numbers rounded up to the nearest whole number. Okay, now we're going to resize the entire columns D through H. So click up here on the letter D, your column heading D, click and drag through column H. If I hold my mouse over the line between any of these column headings, so the line between D and E, and double click, it'll automatically make each column just wide enough for the data that's inside it. That is called best fit. Now we're going to click or hold down the keys Control Home to go back to A1. Now we are moving on to filtering data. That is page 192 in your book. Down here at the bottom left corner of your screen, we have 2 different tabs. Just make sure that we are still in 1790 to 1830 data, which is the same one we've been using the whole time so far. Now we are going to click, it says click any cell inside the data range. So that means this over here, these empty cells, those are not in the data range. Over here, these cells that have stuff in them are inside the data range. We're going to go to the Home tab, make sure you're there, and locate the editing group that's all the way to the right, and click Sort and Filter button. That'll drop down an arrow with a menu, and we're going to click the Filter option. You'll see that in your spreadsheet it gave you some arrows, and what we're going to do is we're going to filter or take out the unnecessary information. So we're going to click the arrow beside the heading Census Division, click that filter arrow, and we're going to click the Select All check box to get rid of all the checks that we have already in there, and we're going to only put a checkbox for New England. That means we're going to get rid of all the records that have anything to do with anything other than New England. We only want to see New England's data. Hit OK. And now you have seen all of your data is being hidden. It hasn't disappeared, it's just being hidden right now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this information. Well, first we're going to go down here to the bottom where our sheet tabs are located, and we're going to click this little plus sign down here beside our tabs to create a new spreadsheet. And so now we have a new spreadsheet It's called currently Sheet 1. We're going to double click where it says Sheet 1 to rename this tab, and it's going to be called 1790-1830 space New England, because this is going to have just information or just data about New England, because we just filtered it on the previous spreadsheet. So now we're going to go back to our previous tab, the one on the left, 1790-1830 data tab. We have our filtered information. We're going to highlight with a white plus sign, click on B1, and drag down to the last bit of information. We're not highlighting anything in column A. So we're going to click the copy button up on your toolbar. Notice that it puts a dancing dotted line, that's what I like to call it, around your information. That lets us know that we have copied something. So now we're going to go to our new tab that we created, 1790-1830 New England, and click on that tab. Click in cell A1 and click the Paste Clipboard.